Hello, and welcome to the Lotus Self-Defense Studios YouTube channel, which will be a tutorial covering all the material as you progress through the journeys of white belt all the way through to black belt, broken up into different segments. Two things to remember. One, this is meant to be an aid for students who are currently studying in the studio and want to try to get a better understanding of some of the material that they're learning in class. And two, I always encourage you to ask questions as much as possible if you're having difficulty with a certain move, whether it's a pinion or a technique or a block or whatnot. That being said, let's begin. This is the material that we're going to go over for white belt on your journey towards yellow belt in our system. First thing is the 8-point blocking system. Just real quick, I also want to point out that still recovering from my injury back in the summertime. You may see my right fist not close all the way, and I'm still working on that, and I'm confident that each and every day it's going to get a little better, and that should return very soon. So on the 8-point blocking system, we want our feet out, what we know as a horse stance, which is just about shoulder width apart, and the fists are going to close, and always close your hand from the pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index, and thumb. It's kind of like you're squishing clay or Play-Doh. You'll have a stronger, tighter fist from there. Hands are back in the position of your ribs, and you want them anywhere from the belt line up until about the mid-rib or so. It should be comfortable, and you should be comfortably sitting into your stance, not standing really tense and stiff. So on the first block, which is number 1, you're going to drop your right hand. You're going to bring it around, similar to like you're scooping ice cream out of a container. And it should stop once the hand just about slightly passes the shoulder. It doesn't need to go too much further because then it would make an opening, which we don't want. Number 2 is the same thing with the opposite hand. So the left hand drops down, and as it scoops the ice cream and comes around, you can draw your opposite hand back. Number 3, your hand comes up to your ear, and as you go across, it's kind of the same motion as like answering the telephone, and you push the arm across your body. Number 4 is the same with the left hand. Bring the hand up, pinky's high to the ceiling, and then you're going to twist your arm across. Number 5, the right arm drops down. It's going to come all the way up, but you want to stop it just as the forearm clears the top of your head. But the other very important factor is you should always be able to see your palm. If I start to turn my hand outwards a little bit, it elevates my elbow and shoulder to slightly an uncomfortable position where it's really not going to be as strong a block as it would in a better angle here. 6, opposite hand drops down, just about the same point over my forehead. And then 7, the right hand crosses to the ear, and it comes all the way down to the point once it clears the knee. And then 8 is the same thing with the opposite arm. Hand comes up, crosses all the way down until it stops right past my knee. So let's try this one more time. This is the 8-point blocking system in the Kempo system. Starting with the right hand. Number 1, drops in circles. Number 2, drop in circle. Number 3, the hand draws up to the ear, comes across your body. Number 4, the hand comes up to your ear and goes across your body. Number 5, the fist comes down to your hip, blocks up over your head. Number 6, the fist comes down to your hip, blocks up over your head. Number 7, the fist comes across to the opposite ear, blocks down, right past the thigh. And then number 8, the fist comes up to your ear and crosses down. You can practice it hard, you can practice it soft, you can practice it slow, you can practice fast. There's many different ways to practice. Just enjoy the journey. We also have 2 techniques as far as combinations are concerned that you need to know to go from white belt again to yellow belt. The first is combination number 6. In number 6, we're in a neutral position known as a horse stance with the hands on guard. I always prefer an open-handed position. I feel it keeps me a little bit more relaxed, and also it may drop my opponent's awareness level just a little bit. If I were to raise my hands as fists, it lets that person know that I'm ready to fight, so they would be just as defensive. If I have my hands in an open or prone position, it may draw his guard down just a little bit because it's showing that I'm a little bit more passive, when in actuality, this is the same as this, but I think this is better. Combination number 6, as my opponent comes towards me, he could be punching me, he could be kicking me, he could be throwing a shove move at me. I'm going to simply take my left foot, step to the side, raise my right leg and chamber to a flamingo, front ball kick to the groin, step back and on guard. Okay, one more time. It's important to note that these techniques work for a variety of defensive maneuvers. They are not all geared off of just a straight punch. So number 6, I'm standing there, I'm in my neutral or horse stance position. My attacker approaches, I sidestep to the left, front kick to the groin and land. One more time, combination number 6, hey, and up. Combination number 7, slightly different angle. So as my attacker comes towards me on this one, I'm going to fade with my left foot to the left, turning my hips, my shoulders, and my entire body. See, if I just move my foot, my body stays in position. But if I move my foot with the thinking that I'm actually going to move my hip, my body follows suit and my angle turns. So my right leg now chambers to the flamingo position. I'm going to side kick to his armpit, cross right foot in front of the left, and cover to step away. Cross and cover is a very important part of the system because as a male, what it will do is protect your groin. Not that I want to get kicked or punched at all, but if I were to get kicked right now, I'd get hit in the thigh as opposed to crossing behind where I may get kicked in the groin. That. Number 7, person throws an attack. I'm going to fade to my left, chamber my side kick, cross and cover. And one more time. Combination number 7. Person attacks, could be a shove, a push, a kick, doesn't really matter. All I know is I'm not going to get hit. Fade, kick, and cross. And the last bit of material, again, besides all of your punches that we're working in class and your kicks, is a form known as one pinion. One pinion is going to be what's called an I-shaped form, which I'll show you that in just a little bit. But it's important to note, you're going to watch it from the front. If you can try to creatively visualize yourself behind me so you get that perspective as you do in class when I stand next to you. So in front position, feet are together, knees are bent, hands are up. I'm going to bow. First thing I do to my opponent before I attack is bow to show respect. I take a slight step out with my left foot. My right leg comes around a little bit grander as I draw my fist back to my ribs, fist up to my ear, chin rather, and then roll my knuckles down to the floor. Good. First attacker is going to be on my left side. I want to cover myself high with the left hand and aim this hand, my opposite hand, to protect my lower quadrant down towards my foot. As I see my attacker, I'm going to half moon in with a block down on the left, half moon with the right leg, front punch to the person's solar. Now the next big thing, we always want to know where the next person is. So when we cross the right hand high, take a little look over our shoulder. Once I'm certain of where he is, I can rotate out towards him and walk down, step in with the left foot, left punch to the center. Now the same thing will apply. My hand comes to my ear, my opposite arm crosses, and I take a slight look first. And as I go up the middle, I'm going to walk down and I'm going to half moon in. 1, 2, 3. 3 times. My next opponent is off of my right shoulder. So I'll cross my arms, big turn and block, step in and punch. My next opponent is behind me. I'll bring my hand to my ear, take my look, turn and block down, step in and punch. And now I have to go back down the middle where I came from. So I'll cross my arm, take my look, and block down, half moon in. 1, 2, 3. I'll switch my hands, draw all the way around the guy number 1 and block, step in and punch. Last turn, hand to the ear, block down, step in and punch. I'll draw both fists back and roll, pull back, secondary roll, and then bow. So I just want to take a second to show you the pattern of what we've been doing. It's an I pattern. You can see that we're starting down here with the X's. My first opponent is off of my left. My next opponent, opposite direction. My third opponent will be drawn right up the middle. He's the one that gets 3 strikes. And then I'm going to turn to my right, which would be guy number 4. And then the last person on the opposite side is guy number 5. From there, I'm just going to go simply straight back down the middle and repeat the process. 3 strikes, and then I'll turn to 1. Last person is number 2, and then bow to end. And you should be about in the same position where you began the form, where you end the form. I hope this was enjoyable. I hope it was helpful. If I can help in any way, please don't hesitate to ask in class, or you could comment on this video. One other thing I want to note is that as Kempo's taught in the United States now, there are many, many different variations of it. So if my take on it, or as I was taught, is different from what you practice, it doesn't make it wrong. No more wrong than a chef who might add a certain spice to their dish to taste for their needs. So, thank you very much. It was a blast doing it, and I look forward to the next one. Be good to each other.